Hey there and welcome on back. As always, I'm Carl with Target's Attitude, absent minded professor of knives and all things sharp. Pull up your chairs, grab some pen and paper, class is about to begin. Today, we're looking at a supposedly new one from Kershaw, the Innuendo. Yes, a Kershaw. I know, I haven't reviewed Kershaw in over a year now. And there's a reason for that. No, it's not that I think Kershaws are crap knives, but they're not exactly the best knives out there in many cases. They're still decent knives at a very reasonable price. It's just that lately Kershaw has been, how should I put this? Their new knives are not really new. They're reintroductions and revisioned versions of old knives. And I'm sorry, an Oso Sweet is a really nice knife, but I can't call it a new knife just because you put a different color handle scale on it or something along those lines. I'm sorry, Kershaw, it's not a new knife, it's just dressed in a new package. And the Innuendo is something like that. It was originally introduced back in 2019, and it's designed by a man named Lee George. I may have to reshoot this. Who is a very good knife designer, and I gotta admit, the Innuendo is a nice design. Of course, we're getting a little far afield here. Before we get too much further, let's get some syllabus work out of the way, shall we? If you're new here, welcome. Here on Fridays, we mainly do knife reviews. Occasionally I review something else, but mainly knives. Then on Mondays, I do knife basics, which you really need to know. That's aimed more at the person who's new to the world of knives and wants to know what we mean by all these fancy new terms. What's a frame lock? What's a liner lock? What's HCR MOV? What's a drop point versus a clip point? These sorts of things. So that when you go to a knife show or a knife store, you're not sitting there going, I guess so. For those of you who've been with us for a while, welcome back. Glad you to make it. For once, I'm not going to ask you if you've subscribed yet. I'm just going to trust that you have. Because let's face it, we're at over 2,500 subscribers by now, and so obviously you are subscribing. But you all came here to see about the knife. Even if you're not that interested in Kershaw, there's enough of you out there that probably are. As I say, the Innuendo is a nice knife. I mean, it fits nicely in the hand. It's striking. That gray coated wash on the drop point blade is very striking. It's got a nice false edge right up here. All in all, very nice. The blade is HCR 13 MOV, which is pretty standard for Kershaw. No, it's not the hardest blade steel out there. And yes, it is going to need sharpening more often than some other steels, but it doesn't break the bank. It holds an edge for a decent length of time, and it's not impossible to sharpen. So it is a good choice, in spite of what some people will tell you. The Innuendo is a frame lock, and I will admit, as a general rule, I'm not fond of frame locks, and I'll explain why. Problem is that when you go to open it, your finger is almost always riding right there on the frame. So when you go to open it, if you squeeze too hard, you're shutting the frame lock on the blade, making it difficult for the blade to open. Some knives do a real good job of making this less likely. The Innuendo, not so much as you can see. But it still doesn't fight you that hard to open, which is nice. the handle scales are a nice aircraft aluminum, which is nice. The blade is coated with a titanium carbonitrate coating, which it's supposed to help with the edge. I'm not so sure it does, but that's what they claim. It definitely, on the other hand, resists corrosion and rust quite nicely, so there is that. It's not assisted opening. It uses a thumb disc instead of thumb studs or thumb holes to open with, and it's not a bad position. It's got a little bit of jimping right back there at the back. Quite frankly, my hand is thumb studs more than the jimping, so the jimping really doesn't do anything for me. Kind of intriguing pivot point. I don't know. Yeah, I could wish it was a line lock instead of a frame lock, but it's not a bad knife from the feel of it. Question is, how does it do on a standard battery of tests? Shall we find out? Let's see here. Start with a piece of paper. And this is straight out of the box as always. No touch-up, no nothing like that. Slightly toothy edge there. I mean, it's taking the paper, but it's not doing as sweet a job as some others do. Not really anything to complain about, just not anything to write home about either. Let's see how it does with standard corrugated cardboard. Punches in nicely. Goes through beautifully. Yeah. Does a great job on opening boxes. So, hang packaging test. Standard Gold Peak tea bottle. Let's try to make sure I don't stab myself like I did last week, shall we? Okay, tip slips in nicely. Does a nice job of that. Can't complain. Paracord. Let's see here. Just need one slice and done. Let's go for the smaller loop. Still one slice and done. Tiny little loop I can just hold in my fingertips. And it launches. Let's try again. I haven't really been able to hold on to these small loops well ever since I had COVID. It's not with my left hand, but I keep trying. 1, 2, and launch. Okay. Does a nice job on paracord. Nothing to write home about, but not bad. Let's see here. Leather. Heavy cowhide leather. And this is what I forgot to break out in last week's video to see how it did against the Becker. Maybe I'll do a second review of the Becker and we'll find out then. But for the Innuendo, yeah, not bad. I mean, it cuts it. It's not what I'm going to reach for if I need to do some leather work, but it'll cut the cowhide. Not bad. Zip ties. Let's see here. Come on, I've still got a few zip ties here, don't I? Just a minute. There we go. Going to need to get a new bag of zip ties here soon. Just about out of all those, but Still got a couple, so. And see how it handles the zip ties. Well, that worked nicely. And then, okay. You can use it to trim the zip ties if you need to. Let's see here. Let's see how well it does chopping. Okay, if you get right up here, it chops all right. Or, yeah, it'll do it, but it's not fantastic. Let's see here. This is pretty well worked over, but I can. And we'll make a feather board for you. Let's see here. Where do we have one space that's not really chopped? Is right up here. Let's see here. I'll chop if you need it to. It's not what it's best for, but it'll do the job. Let's see how the tip is, shall we? That's pretty nice. Let's see here. How about this? And okay. That edge is a little harsh on the hand, but it can be done. Done. Wouldn't really want to try to tie my way all through a whole load of firewood, but if you absolutely had to, you could do it. Let's see here. Do I have any wire anywhere here? Know what? I actually do. Here we go. Just need to kind of separate it out. So, we had to use it for wiring harnesses. I went through that very nicely and very quickly. Okay. Let's see here. How about splitting the two wires in half? That went nice. Stripping wire. Did a nice job on that too. Well, that's encouraging. Let's see here. Ferro rod. Since this has a titanium coating on it and not many sharp edges, I don't think it's going to strike sparks, but I've been wrong before. Let's see. No. How about using the thumb ring? Nope. Don't have enough of choil on this one to do that. So, you're definitely not going to strike any sparks with it, which is a shame, but not too bad. Oh, I forgot to mention the pocket clip will reverse if you need it, which is nice. Always nice to have a knife that can be used left-handed or right-handed. And let's see if we took any damage here. If anything, it seems to be cutting the paper a little bit smoother now. Still not as nice as I'd have liked, but... And let's see here. I don't see any damage to the edge. So, yeah, not bad at all. So the Kershaw Innuendo. Let me double check to make sure I'm remembering correctly here. Yes. I'm selling it on my website for $34.95, which is not a bad price. Not a bad choice for a first knife for a budget EDC. And as I say, it's not fidget friendly, but it opens smoothly. Very nice drop point design. All in all, I could wish they had made it using slightly higher quality of materials and maybe put a better pivot point on there, but all in all, yeah, it's, as a budget EDC, it's a nice choice. But I gotta get going here, so I wish you luck. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned it a little bit. As always, I hope you come back next week. And remember, it may be ability decides what you can do. It may be motivation decides what you will do. But it's attitude decides how well you're going to do it. So if you're going to do something, by all means, do it with attitude. Catch you later. Bye now.